Hey everybody, welcome to the nightly vid. We're gonna keep it short and sweet today. So, gappers, we had a few gaps today, so W Day will be on the gap list. Maybe a 2-2 back down if they want to try and go after the outside month. Imagine those earnings or the news today was positive, but we'll see. If we go to GitLab, was a gapper last week, going inside day, potentially to trigger a 2-2 week back down if they're weak enough to do so. Now, as far as what we saw today, SPY. You're going to see they went shooter day, 2-2 reversal, pivot machine gun of these guys, takes them all out. So now these two bars go outside of these two bars. When we go to the week, you're going to see inside week still, but below 602.34, that would change, turning into a 2-2, countering this hammer. At this point, the month is still green, albeit very slightly. You get to Qs. Today was a 2-2 to the downside in there as well. Very small magnitude. Still an inside week, so still pretty strong. Nowhere near change in the month still, so tech is still relatively strong. If things are going to recover, it'll happen there more than likely. The Dow Jones, 3-2 up in red month, so having some more problems in the Dow. We talked about the 2-2 week on the weekend vid. Below 446.61, 444.66, and it looks like they hit it by I think they missed it by a few pennies this morning, or today, but we'll see if they finish that out. We have all the Dow Jones stuff continuing. Transports, those are still having a rough time. Blood red on the month from all-time highs. If we go to the industrials, you're going to see 2 down again this week, so still getting hurt in there. Blood red in there on the month, albeit they're both still inside month. They do have a 3 last quarter, so if they're going to set up any 3-2-2s or if they're going to crash them 3-3, we'll be aware of that, but we still got some distance to change any of that stuff to 2 down on the month. If we go to home builders, they're also a little weaker, but inside, and we're going to talk about that shortly. If we go to financials, you're going to see those guys also still continuing down. Blood red month, albeit still an inside month, nowhere near change in the quarter. If we go to real estate, you're going to see inside, which we'll talk about slightly. If we go to healthcares, didn't really get hit today, so if there is going to be any strength, it may be in those XLVs. As far as, the assassination news, you do have UNH as an inside day in there, if they're going to try and recover that from that news event, right? If we go to... Give me 1 second here. I want to pull up these sectors. Oops. We just go to the broad sector overview. You can see we have a lot of red this week, right? So most things starting off the week as a sell. When we are looking at that, we want to see who's taking last week's lows, right? So it's the regionals, industrials, already talked about that stuff. Financials, Dow Jones, IWM. SPY and Qs, not so much, right? And then tech, obviously still strong. Semi's a little closer, taking those guys out. And then when we go to the sectors we've been trading, so the energies, right? And then the weekend video stuff, the gold, we're going to see some setups. So if we go into XLE, you're going to see pretty much just went 2 down to start the day, but blood red month, all these inside bars in here and here, still good from last week, so we can still be in there. If we go to XOP, potentially a 2-2-2 day after some triangle layout, still inside month, right? We can go after any energies that are 2 down month. And then if we go to OIH, you're going to see inside day momentum shooter. It is at the bottom of the broadening formation, so we'll be aware of that. But again, blood red on the month, albeit still inside. So when we take a look there, you're going to see CVX with the shooter day in here, still inside month, so we'll be aware of that. But below this, you'd have your shooter 2-2s back down. If we go to FANG, you can have your inside day in there, still an inside month and down, which we triggered off the inside day here at 174. If we go to MPC, you might have the 1-2-2 rev strat on a Tuesday below this stuff. So they bought it to start, right? Still inside month, but it would be a rev strat. We'll see. If we go to PSX, also potentially a 1-2-2 on a Tuesday. It is not inside, it's 2 up, but red. Still an inside week, but that could change. So you got some setups in there, and there's a lot more. There's tons of energies inside. So we're just going to see where those are opening tomorrow morning. If we then go and take a look at the Dow, make it simple, since it's down to start the week, you're going to see 2-2 on a Tuesday. Potentially J&J for a 2-2-2 back down with the blood red 2 down month. So it's trending lower. Still inside quarter, but you're coming back through this triangle in here. The poke down, the poke up, red coming back in. So we'll see if we can get below that, 148.43. Visa, for anyone that likes playing threes, here's your 3-3. So if we can stay out of that, maybe they have some more issues. They're pretty red on the month to start. They are 3-2 down week. Not going to have as much pivot targets to go after there. If we go to IBM, you're going to see starts off the week, big old 3 on the day. Again, broadening formations. If you like playing threes or playing with threes, what you want to see is they stay outside of that. If they reclaim, right, things are stronger later this week. What the heck? It's not letting me draw here. Then we could go back through that stuff, but we'll see. That could turn into RevStrat month or set it up. If we go to the exciting ones, so anything with a star, that's what we're going to be focusing on tomorrow morning. We'll see Home Depot. So the Dow down and the home builders all going inside day, this could turn into 2-2 on a Tuesday pivot machine gun. And it is still an inside month, so we're going to be aware of that. But you could cause that outside week, which could have some fun moving. And if we go to lows, you're going to see lows similar, right? The shooter 2-2 for a Tuesday below this, or on a Tuesday below this, to go after the PMG of these guys. And again, they're a little bit of a chop shop in these guys, but they're setting up simultaneously. And maybe they start the reclaim of that quarter off after triangling out on the weekend here. So we'll see. And then only bullish setup we have, we're going to have McDonald's. Potentially a 2-2-2 on the day to cause a 2-2 month back up. And this would be natural buying if the Dow is full time from continuity down tomorrow and that breaks up. So that'd be some potentially institutional buying going on in there. Let's see. And then we got a few rev strats and inside days down here. DKNG. You see inside day, and it has been pretty volatile recently. Could cause 3-2 down, which is a 1-3-2 rev strat on the weekly. And you'll see on the month reclaiming a scenario 3. So potentially they're going to have some issues if they can stay below this stuff. Last week's low is 42.39. If you go to GitLab, we already talked about that on the gap list. If you go to PayPal, with the financials down, could turn into the 1-2-2. You'll notice potentially reclaim an outside week from last week. Still green on the month, so you'd have to change that at 8655 to get that puking with full-time firm continuity. If we go to Tractor Supply Co. This is the only other setup we see that's bullish. 3122 on a Tuesday above 284.89. This technically is industrials slash your agricultural stuff. And then as far as continuation, we see BlackBerry, some shenanigans going on inside week and up to start the week. 3-2 monther, and you see coming up into some short-term exhaustion on the month, but we'll see if they want to come back and buy more of that. BBY. Best Buy, you see starting off 3-1-2 down on the week, full time from continuity, reclaiming some of this stuff on the quarter around 93.71. Could turn into more problems, and what you see is like they poke up, they poke down, chop them up, poke down, poke up, poke down, and then they go inside down. So if you wanted to be short this thing, no one's going to be shorting it this week, which is normally the best time to go after it. So we'll definitely see that turns into the strat attack. And then we see with the communication stuff, which is your IYZ, T-Mobile today, 322 puker with the inside week down, which also brings Charter in. You can see 322 puker simultaneous break today with Liberta. Looks like 222 puker with the shooter month inside week and down. So those guys are having some problems to start the week. We will see if that continues. And to end off the video, we did see some gappers stuff in gold today. When we look at the futures look a little better. You're going to see still a mother bar, right? Gold's been chopping them up in this range for a good while now. And can't quite understand why it's not letting me draw in here, but you can see that it started as a gap up on the stock side of things. If we go on the gold futures, they're inside week and up, which is reversal of these guys, could turn into a 2-2 month. So if they're starting to get scared of the market, we may see the rotation into gold with that, but we will see on the stock side of things, the gap up sell to start the week. I'm willing to let that open since they're a chop shop, still mother bar week, still inside month. If we go to the miners and stuff, you can see maybe they turn into 2-2s back down, but again, chop shop. So I'll let them open. And then to end it off, you're going to see VIX in here. Starts as 3-2 kicking pattern day to start the week, which is going to, potentially show a little bit of fear entering the market. If you're going to see that start gunning back through the range, you want to see them start reclaiming all these guys. So like 14.9, 14.5, and get back into that range. You can see on the month. Right, it's 2 down, but green at this point, so it changes its continuity. And the thing you want to understand about volatility in the VIX is the VIX will only go up when you have bearish full time frame continuity on the indexes. So when we look back in history, anytime SPY was below 552.57 here in August, right, or below 560.47 here in September, that's when the VIX is spiking, when this is dropping in. And then when they firm it back up with the day and week continuity changing, then the VIX starts pulling it back. So if we do negate the month, then the VIX will start popping. And just to show you some examples, this is again September and August. If we go to the VIX at that time, I believe this is September in here. So you can see in September, right? VIX starts flying up in here, and then they start firming up on indexes with the reversals back up on indexes, which causes the VIX to drop. And then you're going to see it in here. Oops. We go into August, right? That was when you had the crazy spikes in the VIX, right? So when SPY starts kicking into continuity down, then they start really jamming these guys. And the fun part is actually not the VIX rallying, although it can be fun on the indexes. Things start really, pumping to the downside. But when the UVXY starts coming back in, you can see 65 to 20 in a week and a half, 2 weeks. So this is where, the fun's going to be if you're going to be one of those guys playing with volatility instruments and whatnot. But that being said, we're just seeing them off with selling to start the week. We will see if they confirm or negate that across the market. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow night's nightly vid. If you're not in stat trading, if you are, I'll see you guys bright and early in the morning to hit them where it hurts. So adios and have a good rest of your night.